It's an annual tradition in Fulton County.
And it's an event that attracts tourists from around the nation.
News 3 Jose Gonzalez joins us in the studio with the details. Jose?
Brianna, Emily, Canton is one of the many beautiful towns in central Illinois you can visit for the Scenic Drive held in the first 2 weeks of October. Here's a look. It's not recommended to book a train ride to Canton just to enjoy the Scenic Drive, because the station has been closed for years. So what do? Well, it's simple. Drive. For 48 years, the Spoon River Scenic Drive continues to bring tourists to Fulton County. The popularity of the event evolved from a simple drive just to look at fall colors.
And then they started adding vendors and demonstrations along the way, and it sort of evolved into this county-wide event that brings tens of thousands of people to the county every year.
Vendors, tourists, and residents gather inside the heart of the community at Jones Park. Everything is there, from art, jewelry, and food for people to enjoy, and they couldn't be happier.
I'm seeing people from even miles and miles away that have come here to shop. So it's really great. They like my product, and I like meeting new people, so it's awesome.
It brings lots of different people into the community that have never been here before, so they can see what our community is all about.
Even though the event only lasts for 2 weekends, it leaves a huge impact to the community.
It's a huge economic impact to the area because people come to town and they spend money not only in the park, but they spend it in our stores around our square. They buy gas, they eat in our restaurants, and so as far as being important to the community, it's huge. It's a huge event that really, I think, is something that adds a lot of value and brings a lot of money into our town.
Now the US 24 at Buckhart Creek is closed and drivers will be redirected to a route using Illinois 78 and 9 in its place. Please visit the Spoon River Drive website for more information on participating events. You know what? For the first time, I brought my car here and it was a good drive.
It looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for covering that, Jose.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Hidden deep in the woods of the Tennessee Township is a place known as Vishnu Springs. It was founded in the late 1800s as a resort town, and it thrived for many years.
There were some medicinal springs, and the people from the area would come there to partake of the springs. They felt that there was healing properties in the waters, and it was a big drawing card. You would get hundreds to even 1,000 to 2,000 people that would come out there.
Vishnu was handed down to numerous owners after the original community faded over time. The site is currently owned by the WIU Foundation as a wildlife sanctuary. It's normally closed to the public due to liability issues.
It's been vandalized over the years. The floors are not secure in some areas, and so the whole hotel is actually closed up, boarded off.
But once a year, an open house is organized on the site. Over 300 people showed up that Sunday.
We see lots of interesting people coming here, mostly people that have never been here, but some returning guests, and some people come, and I've had people show me pictures.
For many, it was their first time visiting the area, while others recall living here during their youths.
And then I can also remember my dad and his friend Albert building like the 107, 8 steps or whatever it was to get across up the hill over there, and that was a lot of labor of love.
The success of the open houses, Marla says, is a way to preserve the memory of what occurred in McDonough County.
So it's just the mystique, it's the peacefulness of the valley, it's some place that has historic value to the community, and there's a lot of people that would like to see that site kept as is and maybe restored someday or made into a usable, functioning building.
The YMCA in Macomb should be a safe haven for the community, but the people who run the facility are worried about traffic on nearby Dudley Street.
Well, we are concerned with the number of people who are crossing Dudley Street and the traffic that is going on Dudley Street that may be going at excessive speeds.
The street is a main ambulance route for the McDonough District Hospital. Carla says that some motorists were driving way above the 30-mile speed limit, taking advantage of the street's lack of traffic signals. They were unsuccessful to have an additional stop sign installed, but Carla says she hopes the survey will bring them a yellow crossing sign similar to the one right behind me. To combat this issue, they're setting up a survey and presenting their data to the city this week. The Illinois Department of Transportation will place devices on the road to count the number and size of vehicles that pass through. Faculty and volunteers will also count the number of people that cross by.
So we really, really need some help with this issue and want to be proactive and get this done before we have something bad happen. I would rather definitely find some answer to the solution instead of having something bad happen first.
For News 3, I'm Jose Gonzalez. The Illinois Amtrak system is reported to have a lower attendance rate from last year. However, ridership doubled for the Chicago to Quincy route with the addition of the Carl Sandburg train line in 2006. Students and faculty find the Amtrak system as an alternative way to reach Macomb and Western Illinois University.
About 2/3 of Western's population comes from the Chicagoland area, both the suburbs and the city. So of a population of about 10,000 students, roughly about 6,000 students from freshmen all the way up to graduate students are reliant on the train service.
While the state was on the verge to operate without a budget, boards and several representatives from Western and Spoon River College testified to Illinois legislators last May about how an underfunded rail system could impact the WIU community.
We were there as representatives of the Western Illinois region, and so our main message was to say that we're more than just convenience. We're the only state university that's not on an interstate system, and through the Western Illinois region, we don't have a lot of interstate traffic that comes through here.
This month, a new deal by Amtrak and the Illinois Department of Transportation reached an agreement to fund $38 million to maintain the train service until June 30th. This is down from $42 million from the last fiscal year.
We would expect a pretty significant impact if we lost even one of the lines in between Chicago and Quincy. And so one of the ways that we do commerce and the ways that we do business and the way that we attract students to our area is dependent on that Amtrak line.
As public awareness of GMOs increase, it's kind of frightening to know whether or not the food you ate was actually from an animal or created in a laboratory. WIU students in the School of Agriculture are conducting an advocacy project inside Hy-Vee on East Jackson Street in Macomb to give the public a better understanding of what goes into the products they purchased.
What are the differences, and just kind of trying to explain to people what, not necessarily what's better for them, but kind of explain to them what their choices may be.
Some people are misinformed about where the food comes from. That's why their instructor, Jana Nupp, advises her students to develop better face-to-face communication.
They are learning how to be spokespeople for the agriculture industry, which is very important today when there are fewer than 2% of the American public is in production agriculture, but yet they're feeding the entire nation.
Farmers feed over 155 people in the U.S. every day. As the world population increases, they would have to produce 70% more food by the year 2050. This project gives Faith Lois the opportunity to bridge the gap between consumers and farmers.
We need to let them know we're open with our practices, and I know a lot of kids that I go to school with, a lot of my classmates, I know my family has a farm. All of us are more than willing to share.
For News 3, I'm Jose Gonzalez. More than 100 students and community members attended the first Public Safety Expo at Western Hall on Wednesday. The event was brought together as another way to interact with the surrounding community in a non-crisis situation like coffee with a cup.
What better way than to put on an event that showcases some of the public safety resources that are available to our Western Illinois community.
A number of different emergency groups were present, like the McDonough County Sheriff's Department and Illinois State Police, the Fire Department, and McDonough District Hospital, to demonstrate their resources.
So they get a chance to talk with us, interact with us, see us in a different level versus them being a victim of a crime.
Everybody in one area, so if they have any questions, they come and talk to us. We have different things set up. Firearm simulator behind me. Had some police canine demonstrations. We got one more coming up at 1:30.
And trust me, this is one dog you don't want to mess with.
Western is a very large law enforcement major, school, so it's great that we have that where they can come and see what's out there in the field that they want to do.
We're looking at ways to interact with our campus community, listen to some of their concerns, and see how we can fit in and address some of those concerns.
You will not see this sign anymore. Western Illinois University will now enforce a new policy to ban smoking on all campus property this semester. This applies to everyone, including students, faculty, and people who are visiting. They are also not allowed to smoke during special events within the university or allowed to chew tobacco. The Smoke-Free Campus Act prohibits smoking in public universities and colleges in Illinois. The act went into effect on July 1st. This gave Western plenty of time to review new policies for the upcoming semester.
It's going to be a warning system at the outset. Individuals will be warned if they're seen smoking. If there's a continued violation of the act and of the policy, a student could be referred to student judicial programs and go through the disciplinary process.
But for some students, they are disappointed about the recent changes.
It would have been a little bit better if they gave us places to smoke and then took those away, but they just straight took it all away. I just don't like it in general.
The university will provide counseling for current smokers to quit.
WIU Health Center has a variety of resources in place for students. They have smoking cessation programs and smoking cessation aids available to students, such as patches, nicotine gum, and other products that aid in quitting smoking. And these are provided to students at a much lower cost than perhaps you would find at a retail establishment.
For News 3, I'm Jose Gonzalez.
It's a play about what it means to be part of a family and the challenges that are in every family when people just try to figure out how to love one another and appreciate each other.
You have a young deaf man who grows up in a hearing family, and he meets a girl who is going deaf and knows sign language. Now, this young man, Billy, who I'm playing, he doesn't know any sign language, so this is an entirely new world to him. And that process of trying to tell his family about this new journey that he's on, that's where a lot of the conflict is in this play.
I think everybody's had a moment at some point in their life when they don't feel they're inadequate. They feel that they have a lot of high expectations set for them by their own family or people who they look up to in their lives, and they feel like they're not living up to what they're supposed to be.
Picked up on some sign language growing up. However, the sign language that we're doing for the play is British Sign Language. And a lot of people aren't aware that every country kind of has its own form of sign language.
We wouldn't probably think of this in America, but this isn't what we would associate with the sign for love. But the sign for love in BSL, British Sign Language, is this. That's used symbolically to represent also what it would be like to be in a straitjacket. So love is both holding somebody to you, embracing them, holding on to that person you love. It's this British Sign Language representation of love, and it's also very much what it would be like to be in a straitjacket. So love confines you and love comforts you both at the same time.
We've got a real powerhouse group of performers, of artists, of technicians, of faculty, and we do some really good work here. And I'm very proud of this place. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'm proud of the people who come and see us do what we do.
Well, I've made my home here for 13 years, so obviously there's a lot here that is really rewarding for me. I love the collaborative work that we do here with other informed, thinking, and earnest and committed artists.